Have you ever noticed a difference in how far your golf ball travels from winter to summer? Yeah, me too. So I thought we'd come here to the Golf Monthly Performance Lab today and put that theory to the test and actually get some tangible data about how much difference temperature makes to how far a golf ball travels. I'm going to test a 2-piece ball in the Titleist TrueFeel, a 3-piece ball in the Q-Star Tour from Srixon, and a 4-piece ball in the Callaway Chrome Tour X. I'm going to set these golf balls at 3 different temperatures and use our Foresight GC3 in order to pull the data, and we'll dive into it. Let's head over to the kitchen where I'm going to chill these balls and we'll get started with this test. Okay, we've made it to the kitchen. We have our fridge behind us. We've got our test balls. Here's a plastic bowl I prepared earlier. This is going in the fridge. We're going to chuck our test balls in. We've got our 4-piece Callaway Chrome Tour X, our 2-piece TrueFeels, and our 3-piece Q-Star Tours. Come with me. We're going to chuck these in the fridge. Ignore everyone's chia seeds and nectar, sweet honey that we've got there. We're going to put these in the middle shelf. We've got our fridge set at 5 degrees, nice and cool, kind of what you'd expect for a winter morning here in the UK. We're going to put these in there, close the fridge, leave them for a couple of hours. In the meantime, we're going to head back over to the studio and conduct our room temperature test and see how we get on. All right, now my balls are chilling in the fridge. Easy on the comments. We are back here in the performance studio and we're going to kick things off with our room temperature golf balls. We're going to hit 3 balls with each of my 3 test clubs. So we've got pitching wedge, 7-iron and driver. We're going to pick up the data and see what we get. Moving on to 7-iron. Let's move on to the driver. Okay, we've conducted our room temperature testing. We've hit 3 shots with each club, with each ball in order to pull our data. We've had a look at some of the data, but obviously more of that to come when we've conducted the full experiment. I'm back at our famous fridge. I'm going to pick out our balls now to do our cold ball testing. It's been a couple of hours since we put them in there. And what we're going to do is pull them brand by brand in order to keep them as cold as possible for as long as possible. So we're going to start with the Titleist TrueFeel. Let's see how we get on. Right, pitching wedge, cold ball, TrueFeel. We've got them here. They are freezing cold. Let's see how we get on. Oh my gosh. I think that level of kind of almost, it's not ice, but that condensation from the fridge and how cold those balls are just made that kind of scoot straight high off the face. Straight away, that first shot's come out with just over 3,600 spin. This could be interesting. Onto the big stick. Let's see what happens here. Right, some really interesting findings there straight away on our first cold ball test with the Titleist TrueFeel. Honestly, not what I thought was going to happen. We'll dive into it, like I said, in the data, but for now, let's go and get the Srixons and see if it kind of produces the same results. 9 icy Srixon Q-Star Tours. Let's see what happens. Right, last but not least, Callaway Chrome Tour X. Okay, we've got our test balls here now, done our room temperature, we've done our cold ball test. Let's put these in a tray. We've got the oven preheated for about 40 odd minutes now at 50 degrees. Nice and warm in there. We're going to chuck that in there. We're going to leave those for a couple of hours. We'll come back when they're nice and hot and put them to the test. Right, it's been a couple of hours. We've let the golf balls heat up. Let's get them out. We're going to dish them out brand by brand. As we did with the cold golf balls, we're going to put the others straight back in the oven so they remain heated. Got my tongs, health and safety first here at Golf Monthly. We're gonna get the Titleist balls out. Let's shut these in here. They might be a little warm, I haven't actually held them. So putting them on a tee could be interesting. Let's go get our data on the Titleist TrueFeel balls. I'm only joking, they're not that hot. Right, final ball of the experiment, and that is the Callaway Chrome Tour X heated up. Let's take these into the studio, see how we get on with the last set. Right, as you can tell, I'm knackered. It's a lot of golf balls. I'm on my final ball of the experiment. Hot Chrome Tour X with driver. Let's go. Pretty good one. Tight draw down the left side. 165 ball speed. 2.5 carry. Right, we've hit all the shots. I'm tired. Let's have a seat and crunch the data. Okay, I am officially exhausted. I've spent the day, I've hit 81 shots. I think that's the most balls I've hit in a long time. We've tested the 3 balls, the 2-piece TrueFeel, the 3-piece Q-Star Tour, and the 4-piece Chrome Tour X. We've tested them in the 3 temperatures at 5 degrees, 17 degrees, and 50 degrees. Let's see what we came out with that data, shall we? So I'm going to break this kind of analysis segment down club by club because I just think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. And let's talk about some of my findings. Let's start with the pitching wedge because that's the shortest club we hit. Now, obviously that is where you want more control, more spin in order to put the ball closer to the hole. It's one of your scoring clubs, and that is what that club is designed to do. Now, we're going to start with taking a look at the 4-piece ball here, the Callaway Chrome Tour X, and at a chilly 5 degrees, it generated 7,883 RPMs of spin. Not a lot. With a pitching wedge, I would really want to see that pushing on kind of the 10,000 range in order to give me maximum stopping power coming in at a pretty steep descent angle. So we've lost quite a lot of spin there. But when we heated that same ball up to 50 degrees, the spin skyrocketed to 9,983 RPM. So that's, with 2,000 RPMs out there, that's a big, big difference. It's a fairly big temperature gauge, let's be honest, between 50 and 5 degrees, but that's a big difference. And that will completely change how your ball reacts when it's actually on the green. So obviously, if we're playing in firmer temperatures, you're not likely going to have 5-degree golf balls, so it will still spin up because we've got the heat with it. But obviously, when this comes to the winter, you also don't have to worry about it quite as much, especially here in the UK, because the greens are obviously much softer, so you can kind of allow for that slight lack of spin because the ball's probably going to stop anyway. But it does get even crazier because when we switch to the Titleist TrueFeel at the other end of the spectrum, it produced a measly 4,466 RPMs of spin. At 50 degrees, it nearly doubled to 8,791. That is a huge discrepancy between kind of the 2 temperatures with that ball. So they're 2 things that you probably should take in mind, not just only what temperature and what that's doing to the spin when it comes to your scoring clubs, but also which ball you're using depending on what temperature and style of golf course you're playing on. Right, moving on to the mid-iron, where I did obviously hit my 7-iron with these 3 balls in the 3 temperatures, and it was at this, let's just say with the 7-iron, with the middle of my irons, where I started seeing the temperature really eat into the distance of the golf ball. Again, let's start with the Chrome Tour X. At room temperature, baseline degree of 17 degrees, it was carrying a solid 179.3 yards. But drop that temperature down to 5 degrees, and the carry fell to 170.2 yards. That's 9 yards. That's a full club, really, in my bag that I would have to take in order to hit the same distance. So bear that in mind when you do go to the winter. That is likely why you're going to have to club up. And don't be scared to club up. You will know when the ball is falling short. You'll start to understand when you're going to need to hit more club. But you can almost then just play it as your normal yardage is and just think you'll just add 1 club each time and you'll likely hit the yardage you're looking for. The 3-piece Q-Star Tour actually held up a little better, dropping from 179 yards down to a room temperature at 173.9 yards. So we didn't lose quite as much distance when dropping just down to room temperature. But again, we are noticing that's around half a club drop in distance there. So depending on what temperature you're playing in, really bear that in mind as to what club you're hitting into the greens. Obviously, you've got to bear in mind as well the kind of surface, what you're playing onto, are the greens soft or firm, but that may help your decision when it comes to clubbing up. Right, now for the big dog. Heating up your golf balls, making them really hot, should give you more distance, right? Wrong. This experiment has blown my mind as well. I really thought this would make a big difference and I was likely to see the ball fly miles, but this was the biggest shock in this test. First, let's look at the cold though. As expected, the cold weather does kill driver distance. The Q-Star Tour here carried 273.5 yards at 5 degrees and jumped 10 yards to 283 yards when we put it at just room temperature. But here is where it gets weird. When we cooked these balls up to 50 degrees, the distance actually dropped. I know, it actually dropped, which blew my mind completely. But compared to room temperature at least, the Chrome Tour X was a bomber at room temperature, carrying around 294.1 yards, but with a ball speed of 168.5 mile per hour. At 50 degrees, when I thought this ball would fly, I don't know, another 10 yards at least, the ball speed actually dropped 3 mile per hour down to 165 mile per hour, and the carry dropped 287 yards. That's a 7-yard drop in distance from this ball getting hotter. Crazy. But when we saw the exact same trend with the Tru-Tilt and the Q-Star Tour, I thought, how is this happening? And the only thing that I can come up with in my head is when it gets to that kind of temperature, which 50 degrees, I mean, not many people are playing golf in 50 degrees, but we've hit temperatures of 40 degrees here in the UK this summer, and that's hot. And when this ball is going just above that, I mean, I guess you're likely to get 50 degrees in the middle of Texas or Arizona in the summer, as well as out in Dubai. But it's likely that the core of the golf ball actually gets too soft, and so you actually lose a bit of energy transfer. If you're a golfer who keeps your bag in your car and your stock of golf balls in your car, maybe don't next time. Take your balls out into the house, keep them at room temperature so they stay a solid kind of baseline temperature throughout. When you need to, when you're going out to the golf course, I know, like me, you'll probably forget time to time, but I think you're going to be better off. We've proven here today that you're actually likely to kind of gain distance if your balls aren't heating up too much, and you're likely to be way more consistent with your yardages when playing into the greens. Right, so what did we learn out of this test today? In the winter, keep your balls inside. A little bit of heat, keeping them at room temperature is going to make a massive difference, and vice versa. When it comes to the summer, do not overdo it. Try and keep your balls in a dry, kind of cooler space. Make sure they stay at room temperature, so when you take them out, you're getting the most out of those golf balls. Hopefully you found this test helpful, and if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you hit the like button down below, as well as subscribe so you don't miss any future Golf Monthly videos. From me here in the Golf Monthly Performance Lab, we'll see you next time.